Canyon is a veteran Korean pro player and the current superstar jungler for his team, Gen.g, who are currently dominating the LCK with a perfect record of 12 wins, 0 losses. Now, whilst Canyon is still dominating today, you may more likely know him from his time on Dan1, where he spent most of his career, since that's when he won his world title back in 2020, while also being awarded the series MVP for that grand final. What's undeniable though is Canyon's skill. It is world class, but what really impresses me about him the most is his ganking. Canyon is always able to anticipate, predict, and execute on ganks using several techniques he obviously has complete mastery over. Just look at this extract from his stream as an example. Now this gank, mechanically, was played incredibly well by Canyon, but sadly, he still gets taken out in the end. But at least his teammate Nautilus could trade back a kill for him. Now jumping forward just over a minute into the future, and look at where Canyon is hiding. But not just that, look at the state of the bot wave. With the minion wave this far up in the lane, it's only inevitable for Canyon to find an easy gank and a kill on Tanami for himself. Now when we're talking about a jungler that is this good, a gank like this is never happening by chance, nor is it ever a once-off, as you can see patterns like this in many of his plays. In this next clip in front of us now, it's like deja vu from the first one. After a barely successful counter gank onto mid, let's fast forward ahead 1 minute into the future, like what we did with our last clip, and see what Canyon is doing. Predictably, like in our last clip, Canyon is back again to repeat gank for the lane that he just got a kill in. But why is this repeat gank working so well? The answer to that is simple. Just look at Zoe's wave again, and imagine how far up the lane she has to walk in order to get last hits, which exactly mirrors what we saw in our first clip on Kha'Zix. Canyon has obviously discovered a pattern here that is making his ganks almost guaranteed to work. This repeat gank style is just one of many techniques that Canyon is consistently using to be a more dominant ganker and jungler on what is most likely the best team in the world. We'll be breaking down this technique plus others that Canyon and other pro players are using to make more efficient ganks and be better junglers in general, whilst hopefully also helping you to level up your own gameplay just a little by learning from the best.
My name's Rogue and I played League of Legends professionally for 7 years. Now I'm a full-time content creator and coach for all ranks Iron through to Challenger. So if you want more information of what a coaching session with me will look like, you can find more information by following the link in the video description below.
And while you're in the description, you'll also find the link to my Patreon where I post all of the recordings of my best coaching sessions in full, with almost 1,000 hours of content currently available, all sorted by role and rank, including sessions where I coach for professional level teams. You can get a glimpse of what pro level league looks like from the inside. That's why whatever you're looking for, you'll easily be able to find something that's going to help you improve, no matter your rank. The key component of the repeat gank that Canyon showed us in the intro involves a deep level of understanding of how minion waves work, which is probably the most important fundamental to planning a successful gank ahead of time. The easiest time to begin planning is after a successful gank, as that is when it is easiest to predict how a minion wave is going to move in the future. Generally, the first thing you will do after a successful gank is push the minion wave into tower to deny your opponents the wave, followed by recalling. Now in almost every early game situation, when you push a wave into a tower like this, it will immediately cause a slow push that comes back into you. This is because the following wave the enemy has that comes out of base is going to get stuck on your minions that are hitting the tower, causing that wave to group up and form a sort of battle formation. Shortly after, when the red team minions next wave arrives, they walk in single file. But this battle formation of minions mean that every single minion of blue team's wave will be focusing the front minion of this newly arrived wave that's just walking in one by one, causing the front minion of this wave to die almost instantly. This is all practically just a fancy way of saying that when a minion wave goes into a tower, it is going to come back to you, which means that now when you see your teammates crash a wave into a tower, you can use these wave crashes as an opportunity to pre-plan ganks up to a minute in advance. Now that we realize that a wave crashing into tower can be used as an opportunity to pre-plan a gank well in advance, we can also realize that these opportunities to plan ganks in advance don't just happen after we make our own successful kill on a gank. This is just when it's easiest to be done. It can also be done when your teammates make their own solo kill, or just in general anytime someone crashes a wave. So you're going to see here that I pan my camera bot lane, and watch as my bot lane takes an all-in, burns all of the enemy bot lane sums, and gets a little kill on Karma. So here we go, they dash in, they get this Karma to burn her flash and all her sums, and she ends up dying. Let's pause here and think about what this means. Okay, the enemy got pushed in, they don't have any wards, the wave has crashed into tower, and as you can see, this is going to start forming a slow push that comes into us. I've immediately set the timer for the gank, and you're going to see I'm going to consistently check up on how fast Varus is pushing here, because I intend to gank on this bounce. I'm going to go take my red buff while continuously checking how much time do I have remaining. I want to be there in time. And you're going to see in a moment, I'm going to realize that the enemy doesn't have a ward yet, but they're probably going to be thinking towards. So I'm going to skip doing my golems, run straight bot, and I'm actually going to ping my Pyke, who's trying to roam mid, to come bot lane instead because I see the potential for a kill. At the moment I get here, the enemy's completely overextended, needs to walk up to try to get the wave in, and because I'm here on time, we can get this nice little kill on Karma with a great job at EQ. Great stuff. But it doesn't have to end there. And that's what's great about this kind of path that I did, where I took all the camps on the top side of my map and left camps available on the bot side, is that I've now invented what I call a ganking win condition. That wave is still frozen, they still have to deal with it, and I have to set a timer for 1 minute when they come back, but the good news is, I have camps left on this side of the map that I can still take while I wait, and this is the process for repeat ganking. If you take the camps on the top side, skip camps on bot side to make a bot gank, I can wait, and now that it's been a full minute, this wave is still extremely gankable, and they still don't have a ward, so I can just wait here. There's Varus, and the moment that enemy shows up, they have no sums and a frozen wave. Now we end up spotting Karma mid, who was so tilted she gave up on life. I'm going to go back and clear my camps now. But I've successfully chained a solo kill from my bot lane, into a repeat gank from me, into what is presumably a third kill if the enemy support isn't so tilted to run mid. Canyon makes plays like this all the time, especially in solo queue, where he pre-plans a gank ahead of time upon seeing his teammates crash a wave into the opponent's tower. But what's incredible about how Canyon plays is that he uses the exact same mechanic to make plays in the reverse. This is a usage of the mechanic that is far more common to see in his actual LCK games. In this game, for example, Canyon is playing Nidalee on red team, sneaking away the Void Grubs. At the same time as this happens though, the enemy crashes the top wave into Cassante's tower. This is different to the previous replays because this wave crashes into Canyon's team's tower, not the enemy's. Now that Canyon has taken away the Void Grubs, where do you think he's going to go next? Logic would dictate, bot side, right? Dragon is the only objective left up on the map. But not for Canyon. He plays the game on a whole nother level and sees objectives in a different way. As is tradition at this point, let's jump forward again in the replay just 1 minute to see where Canyon is going. While blue team is bot side setting up for that dragon we talked about, Canyon is actually top lane, preparing for a top dive that gets him the entire enemy's top jungle, sets his Cassante incredibly far ahead, and puts Renekton essentially out of the game. This is literally the opposite of what happened in our first few examples. Solo queue Canyon uses early game wave crashes into the opponent's towers to set up for gank opportunities on the bounce, but LCK Canyon uses post-level 6 wave crashes into his own team tower to then predict priority for neutral objectives, invades, or in this case, to plan tower dives a minute in advance. Now this bouncing wave trick isn't something that is specific to Canyon, or let alone the jungle role for that matter. This clip in front of us is one from a master tier TF player that I've been coaching for quite a while now, and check it out. Our TF player looks top lane and notices his rumble is pushed into tower. He knows what this means. We can pre-plan a play a minute in advance because we know this wave will bounce. So what our TF does is he bases and TPs back to mid to guarantee priority on this following wave. With that base advantage, he will always get push and he will always have the move to utilize this stacking top wave the same way that Canyon did. So instead of crashing this wave, he's actually going to stack it for 2 waves to align his wave crash with his top laners so he can roam there for that dive. Now on the wave there, we're going to notice something. It's not just TF who is utilizing this trick, but Volibear is doing Void Grubs right now. On the exact timer of this wave bounce, he has planned his clear to allow for the guaranteed priority that Rumble will have off this wave bounce, and so he's using it for Void Grubs, but our TF, with 1 minute preparation, has done everything necessary to be here for this tower dive because he could see it so far in advance. This bouncing wave technique is the most consistent way to plan any plays in the early game, and it can be used in solo queue to hard camp a lane and put that lane behind in the early levels. And then, in the later levels, you can simply reverse the technique and use these bounces going in the other direction to then pre-plan tower dives to further terrorize that poor enemy laner to the point where they just spam FF and AFK. Anyone can use this trick, it's simple to do. It's just Canyon who is the master of it. Now I plan on making many more of these videos analyzing some of the interesting techniques used by our favorite pro players in the future. So remember to subscribe right now. It's just below the video. Go click the button. You don't want to miss out. These videos take a ton of effort on my part to make, so if you want to help me out just a little bit, leave a like and a comment. It'll help me abuse YouTube's algorithm to get this video out to more people. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.